T14. Rated T14. Rated T14. Rated T14. Rated T14. Rated T14.
Hello everybody and welcome to Captain Mac Live. If you were here a couple minutes early, you would have seen the scenery bouncing all over the place and all kinds of craziness going on because, well, it's FSX. Now, we put this up for a vote for those of you who didn't get an opportunity to vote or maybe just happened to drop on by. The voting took place on Facebook this time, and as I mentioned in previous live streams and a couple of my videos, from here on out, announcements for live streams are going to take place on Facebook. I just don't have the time to put into making a little video for every single one of those. Oh, look, for every single one of those. There goes the brain fart. For every single live stream, it takes 30 some minutes to make the video or whatever. Hey, look, we're bouncing all over. Engines are spinning around, weather's coming in, all kinds of stuff going on here. So I see we got crews on board. Looks like there's 5 of you here, so let's go ahead and take care of that roll call first. And while you're doing the roll call, I'm going to talk about the fact that these wheels are octagons. That's interesting to me. That's just crappy modeling is what that is. We're going to be here in Phoenix, departing to San Diego in our first ever attempt at flying the Aerosoft Airbus. And I say our first ever because this is a combined effort between you guys and me, right? Sort of. Really, you're just going to watch me fumble and bumble around. Now, I have flown the Aerosoft Airbus many times. It's not really new to me, but it has been a long time since I've flown it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I did mess around with it a little bit yesterday in preparation for today's flight, and so I'm kind of looking forward to this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey Z, how are you, buddy? Great to have you first time here. Everybody say hi to Z Walla if you would, please. He's been a long time subscriber on my channel. Fantastic individual, always helping out with the comments and giving thumbs up and all that good stuff. So everybody say hi to Z, and yeah, so I guess we're going to jump in and get started here in just a minute now. I was talking or chatting with Cruise Q2 there for a couple minutes before we got started here, and I have to admit, I was just a little saddened with the vote. You know, I was really hoping some folks would vote for DCS World, so that we could play around in that. Now, Cruz brought up a good point. Hey, Pat, how are you, buddy? You know, a lot of the videos that are out there, it really just looks like you kind of fly around and shoot. It almost looks more like a video game or an arcade game than a simulator. And boy, do I have some news for you guys. That's not the case. Now, if you buy, first of all, DCS World is free for those of you who don't know. So if you grab DCS World, you get, I think, one aircraft with just the base DCS World, the 1.5. They've got 1.5 and 2.0. With 2.0, you do need to buy the Nevada map, and I'm not going to go into it real in depth here because we're not doing DCS World, obviously. But the point I'm getting at is you get like one aircraft, and it's not bad, but it's pretty basic. And you can get a couple of add-ons like Flaming Cliffs, which gives you several other aircraft. But they're all very basic. You know, you use key functions like shift plus the home key to start the engines and stuff like that. However, if you buy add-on aircraft like the A-10C, well, let me tell you, that thing is ridiculously complex. It's more complex. The systems in general aren't all that different. An aircraft is an aircraft. You've got, in most cases, you've got an APU and all of that stuff. So a lot of that stuff is similar. It's just different layout on the flight deck or the cockpit and all of that. However, you not only have to learn those systems, you have to learn all, or the aircraft systems itself, but you have to learn all the weapon systems and the sensor systems. So the different radars, you know, on an A-10, for example, you've got 2 different types of air-to-ground missiles. You've got 3 or 4 different types of air-to-air missiles. You've got different types of bombs. You know, it's just, there's a lot to learn. It's absolutely seriously in depth. So I hope to do a live stream with that, but I am going to start some videos here pretty soon, I think, because I'm having a lot of fun with it, guys. It really is a good time. So anyway, enough talk about DCS, because obviously we're going to be doing FSX today. Now, we only got 3 votes up there. They were all for flying the Aerosoft Airbus. Now, I did notice one of those comments on the vote was, I don't really need another complex aircraft, so I'm kind of looking at this one because I fly the PMDG 737. Well, I got news for you. This is actually quite complex. Now, I would say it's just shy of PMDG quality, just a little shy. Recently, FS Labs released their Airbus. I think it's an A320. I don't think you get the 21 and the 19 and 18, just the 20. It's $100. Now, FS Labs, well known for the Concorde, for those of you who may remember, and everything I've seen so far, it looks like it's going to be, it looks like it's fantastic. It's already released. Not going to be. It looks like it is. A fantastic aircraft, and so I really would like to get into that one of these days. However, comma and pause for effect, it's $100. So unless somebody's donating it to me, you're probably not going to see Captain Mac flying the FS Labs Airbus anytime in the near future. So all of that being said, enough staring at the outside of this aircraft. We are in Phoenix. Let's just take a quick cruise around here. Actually, we're not going to hop into the airplane quite yet, but we are going to fly through some scenery, because why not, right? So Phoenix, many of you already know I work at this airport, and in fact my office is in this building. This is the N1 concourse, and my office is in the N1 concourse. So beautiful looking sunset out there. It's actually a little later than I thought it was. I guess I just didn't look at the time. So we're flying into San Diego. So real quick, as we get ready to start the flight plan here, I'm going to go ahead and throw my first question out there. Do you guys want to see a daytime landing in San Diego or a nighttime landing? Because if we go with the current time of day, it's going to be a nighttime landing. That being said, also, do you want me to make sure we land on runway 27, or you want me to go with just whatever weather is going on and maybe risk having to do runway 9? Because obviously runway 27 is the funner, funner. It's the harder approach into San Diego. And I do have scenery for it, by the way, from, who is it? FS something or other. No, it's not FS3. Yeah, whatever. I've got scenery for it. I don't remember who did the scenery. Don't really care. They're not paying me money to endorse them, so not really that worried about it. So think about that for a minute. Decide what you want to do, and while you're doing that, let's pop this bad boy up and let's get cranking on the flight plan. Now we're going to be in the A321 today, so we'll go ahead and click on Add Flight, and it's going to be American. So now, just in case you forgot, when we go back to the simulator, when I press the A key or the S key, it changes the camera views. So when we go back there, boy, that really makes my face look bright, doesn't it? The view is going to be different. So American Airlines, I think it's ALA, right? Okay, here, let's... no, it's AAL, you idiot. There we go. AAL. There we go, American Airlines. Flight number is going to be 2336. Whoops. I hate that. There are some things I really hate about EasyDock. Phoenix to San Diego. It's not a very long flight. And we'll just leave the departure time as is. I don't really care. So save that, and now we're ready to plan the flight. Let's see what we got over here. Daytime. I think the view coming in San Diego is awesome. Daytime. That's 2, 3 for daytime. Since there's only 80 on here, then I guess it's going to be daytime. So when we get back in, we'll change the time of day so that we make sure we arrive during the daytime. Okay, so there's our straightaway route. Let's jump into the aircraft database, and we are using the A321. That's this guy right here, Aerosoft A321. Remember now, I do my registration stuff differently. I don't register every single aircraft because I'm just not doing that. So you can see I've got the 321, 320, 19, and 18. Those are all, oh, excuse me, those are all Aerosoft. So there we go. We'll apply that. And we'll throw a random payload in there. That's fine. Now, everything's in kilograms, and that's fine because when we pull up the fuel planner, we're going to do that in kilograms as well. So I'm not worried about that. Find the route real quick. Pretty straightforward, not too bad. GBN out here tells me that we're probably going to be taking, well, it looks like we're taking the Judith 4 departure is what they're asking for here. So I'm okay with that. I don't know what the current weather is in San Diego, so but Lindy 4 arrival is probably what we're looking at. So destination alternates, there's a couple of them over there. Not too worried about that. Again, you can scroll down here and you can find where those alternates are if you want. KSDM is, let's see, where is it at? It's right down here. And this is the border to Mexico, by the way. In case you weren't aware of that. So there's KSDM, and then they've got actually one in Mexico. I'm surprised it didn't, I mean, this is military. That's Miramar. So actually both of these are. This is Naval Air Station and Marine Corps Air Station. So, and then Camp Pendleton's right up here somewhere. Oh, it doesn't even show Camp Pendleton on there, does it? Nope. March Air Force Base. Huh, that's funny. It doesn't show Camp Pendleton. Anyway, we're good on that. Compute the flight. And everything's good to go. Now we want to export it, and we want it to go to the Airbus Extended. That's the guy we're flying, not to the iFly. We don't need it in there. And then we want it to go to Microsoft FSX so that we have that flight plan available for Active Sky. There we go. So save that. 2 routes saved. Okay. Close that out. Release the flight. Let me drag this over here real quick, and see, I told you we'd be in some crazy view. Okay, now it'll probably take forever for the scenery to reload properly. You see, like there's dirt right there right now. Now it's gone, so the scenery's reloading because we weren't on the scenery. So I'm just copying the flight plan over here, and I'll pull up a notepad. There we go. And that way we've got the flight plan available to us should we need to reference it. Seriously? I can't hit any buttons without EasyDock Camera deciding that it means a different view. And then you'd think, okay, well, let's just change what buttons you use to switch camera views, right? But then as soon as I do that, I don't know which is which, and I get lost. So there's our flight plan there, everything in kilograms. I don't think we need PFPX anymore, so let's go ahead and close that out. Get this over here out of the way. And let's see, what do we need to do next? Oh, we need to take care of our fuel planner. That's this guy. So if you weren't aware, you go into your Aerosoft folder, go into Airbus Extended, and then it doesn't actually matter if you pull up the one for the A320 and 21 or the 18 and 19. It doesn't really make a difference. Hey, Airbus 966, you're going to love this because we're doing Airbus. Before I forget, though, let me change the time and season because you guys want daytime. So there we go, daytime. It'll reload. And while it's doing that, we'll continue to look at this. So it doesn't matter which one you use because you can select any of them from here. So we're flying the A321. And let's see here. It's going to take my flight sim forever to load with everything going on at once. So what do we have on here for our payload? It doesn't show the number of packs, does it? Yeah, it does. 116. So if we go on here, wow, that's actually really low. 116 packs. Cargo is at 96, 92 kilograms. So we can bring that way up. As close as we can get. That's pretty close. 96.47. And so we're going to go on that. Now we need to change our departure ICAO, and of course it's going to change our view again. KPHX to KSAN. Okay. And then, as you can see, we're staring at the sky right now. Okay, there we go. Hit the number 1. So 264 nautical miles. That's direct. Our flight plan distance is 275. So it's going to be pretty close. Now this is saying we need 5,333 kilograms of fuel. This one's saying 6,024. Notice though, okay, if we match these up, so trip distance 264, even though it shows longer on here, for trip it shows 27.29 on the fuel and it shows 27.58 on here. Now which one do you think we're going to go with? Obviously we're going to use the one that their fuel planner has. So let's see, planned flight level is not 360, it's actually going to be 260. Let's just scroll it down so I don't have to press any numbers. Okay. So, and that actually brought the fuel down a little bit. So anyway, the long and skinny of it is you can change these things. You can change your APU time. For us, we'll probably burn a little extra because I talk so much. Taxi time shouldn't take too long. Depending on what runway we're going to. Holding fuel is for 30 minutes. Contingency fuel is actually incorrect. It's supposed to be 45 minutes, right? Yeah, pretty sure it's supposed to be 45 minutes. However, I think what they're doing is they're combining holding and contingency fuel together to equal 45 minutes. So that's fine. Final reserve, $7.99, and so on. So, all of that said, let me get this out of the way over here now. And we press on Generate Load Sheet. Okay, and now what that did is that created a load sheet that will pull up on our FMCDU down here in a couple of minutes. Now I usually like to leave this open just in case anything comes up and I want to take a look at it. So shrink that down and here we are in the aircraft. Now here's what we're going to do today. For those of you who've flown this before, you know that there's a checklist function, an auto checklist function, and you can turn on both the captain and the first officer and they'll read off and perform the checklist items. I don't really want to do that. What I want to do instead is we're going to have them read off the checklist items instead of me reading from a list right here. And then I'm going to perform the checklist items. And in order to do that, the first thing we're going to have to do is hop up here and turn on the ground power. We've got the external power available. I set that up. So there we go. Ground power is on. Now batteries are off, so we need to turn the batteries on. So click both of those. And now we've got power on the aircraft. And as you can see, okay, these are up and running. If we spin these knobs, all of a sudden we can see these guys and these two knobs down here. And I don't like them too bright personally, because when they get really bright they get that bluish background and I don't like that. I like the background to be black. I think it looks better, right? So hop down here now. Actually I think that's supposed to be the number 5 key, isn't it? It is, and I'll tell you why. Because I have that set to the number 2 key, but when we're on the checklist item, number 2 turns on and off the extra checklist guy. So go into Easy Dock really quick and we'll just change this to the number 5 and we're good to go. See how quick that was? So now I have to hit the number 5 key to come down here. Okay, I'm not going to put in company route right here, but first thing we want to do is reset the IRS to nav. So hop up top, that's these 3 up here, right click them all, bam, they're on nav. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Clear that out, go into the FMGC, and now here we can type in the company route. So we're going KPHX to KSAN, KSAN, not to KSAN in Vietnam. And then it's going to be designator 01 because I always leave that on there. So click that right there. It tells you please wait, and then it loads it in, and we're good to go. And we're not going to put in an alternate route, but we do need to put in a flight number. Our flight number and our code on the transponder will always be the same. Cost index is going to be 75. Cruise altitude is going to be flight level 260, and it'll do the temp for us. Okay. Now, click on Align IRS. Let that do its thing for a minute. And before we start the checklists, what I want to do is take care of weather. Pop up our active sky here. We need to load a flight plan. So click Flight Plan and Load. And there's our flight plan right there. Open. It loads it in for us. And just like that, we're good to go. Now, if I go to Conditions, I can type in KPHX here. And it's going to tell us the weather here in Phoenix. 170 degrees at 9 knots true. I don't have my usual notebook here. Let me grab a notebook. Because if I don't write this down, you know I'll forget it. I got a whole ton of pens over here. Okay. So it's 170 at 9 knots. And the altimeter is 2987. Which is 1012, which we may need because I think the entire aircraft is in millibars. Okay, so there's our weather for here. Now, my brain's trying to function at the same time. It's not working really well. You guys can't see from the camera, but I actually have, rather than a yoke in front of me, which you would see if I had the yoke, because that would be right about here, I've got my X55. So I've got the stick over here and the throttle right here. And that's the way I like to fly the Airbus, because the Airbus is flown with a stick, right? Rather than a, what do you call it? Yoke. Okay. So take a look here. First thing we need to do before we do any checklist items, let's get the load started. Instead of filling this out, see, I just click Initiate Load Sheet, and it puts in all that information that we just did in that fuel planner. We'll go ahead and start boarding packs and fuel, and then just for poops and grins, let's go ahead and pull up GSX. Oh, wait, that's not what I need. I need, was it Control Shift F12 and request boarding. And then we'll hear some passengers boarding in the background. We'll do American. And they're probably going to want us to open some more doors. So just to make it simple, if you go to aircraft doors, I'm just going to open them all up. And then they can load cargo and food and packs and the whole shebang. So aft left, I thought I opened it just now. Open. It's not letting me open that one for some reason. Okay, we'll leave it closed. Alright. Any questions so far? Hey, Shaker, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to have you aboard. My man Shaker MT there. Let me tell you, that's one of my favorite people in the world right there. Good people. Oh, that's passenger. I was like, what's that noise I'm hearing all of a sudden? That's passengers boarding. Shaker, we're doing the Aerosoft Airbus today because, well, we don't have the money for the FS Labs Airbus. But actually, this is a good aircraft. I really like it. So if we go over to checklist, as soon as I turn this on, okay, I'm not going to turn on the co-pilot. We're going to act as the co-pilot for the checklist, even though we're flying from the captain's seat. Okay. So I can't talk a whole lot while we're doing this because I have to listen to what he's saying. But the good news is, unlike that checklist in which one was it? It's in the Field Air aircraft. You know, it says it once and then you have to try and remember what they said. In this one, they'll keep repeating it. So let's do cockpit preparation.
Cockpit preparation checklist.
I got to turn it up a little.
Batteries.
Both on.
Electrical power.
External power is on.
Navigation lights.
Now, I'm going to turn these lights on. So, if it's something that you don't need to do anything, he'll just respond saying it's done. But if it's something that you need to do, then it won't do anything until you take care of it. So they're saying nav lights. Now let me give it a second to see if she says it again, because it's going to be these lights right here, obviously.
Navigation lights.
Yeah, there we go. So now we'll click on the nav lights.
Set on.
Engine master.
Both off.
He responds.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
Landing gear lever.
Checked.
Parking brake.
On.
Flaps.
Checked position.
Speed brake lever.
Checked retracted.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Transponder mode.
Checked standby.
Radio control panel.
Okay, so radio control panel, that's these guys down here. And what you need to do is turn them on with these little switches here. But before I do, just want to comment on it. Shaker's offloading in Portland there, and then he's off to Seattle. Hey, you be sure to drive safe, and don't be watching my channel while you're driving. We've been over this before. Okay, so when we flip these on, there's
Set
one.
on.
Oh, just one of them. See, I didn't hear what she said because I was talking. So, but if you wait a minute, she'll repeat it. And also, if it's something that you don't want to do, you can click skip item, which is that button right there, but we're not going to do that. Any day. She takes a while to say it again. Still
Ecam
waiting.
recall.
Oh, recall. Okay. So, number 5. And recall is right here.
Checked.
Anti-skid.
On.
Flight director.
On.
Emergency lights.
Emergency lights are up top. That's this one right here.
Set.
No smoking signs.
That's these two here. And you got to click them
Set
twice.
on.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Probe window heat.
Auto.
Air condition.
Checked.
Ventilation panel.
Is checked.
Electric panel.
Checked.
Fuel pumps.
Oh, we got to turn fuel pumps on, don't we? I'm sitting there waiting for him to say something.
Set on.
Hydraulics.
Is checked.
Brake pressure.
Okay, now this one drove me nuts. Let me show you this here. This key. So brake pressure is this. This is the gauge right here, but there's no switch that says brake pressure. It's this guy here, the electric pump. Listen for it. There it is. See?
Set.
Ground proximity warning system.
On.
Electronic flight control system.
On.
Adheres.
Checked.
Emergency equipment.
Is checked.
Checklist complete.
Okay, so that's the end of that checklist, and in order to start the next checklist, we'll have to close the doors. So we'll make sure that loading's complete here in a second. Let me just see, there's a couple of things over here. Shaker, I've got the black box Airbus too, which is not bad for an incomplete aircraft. However, I have to say, there hasn't been an update on that thing in like 8 months. I think that's a little ridiculous, to be honest with you, but what you just have to say to ATC when you push back, taxiing, then taking off. What are you talking about, Airbus? You lost me there. What you just have to say to ATC when you push back, taxiing, then taking off. Yeah. Go ahead and let me know what you're talking about there. Now, with the checklist, there's a couple things that if I remember correctly, are not in there. So I'm going to have to try to remember to do them before we take off. But I'm not going to do them right now because maybe they are in there. I don't recall. But like setting our altitude and our speed and stuff like that. So just something to think about. Now, what we haven't done yet is we haven't finished setting up our FMC. So now that we've prepared the flight deck, let's go ahead and finish setting up our FMC. If we go in here, go to flight plan. The flight plan's all in there. And I haven't done this in forever, guys. I mean, I haven't done this in forever, so bear with me. There's a discontinuity there. That has to do with our arrival. Let's see here. Performance page. Okay, so on this one, we gotta do our flap setting in here, right? So it says 0.8. Let me see. What is it? That's actually on here. So it's up 1.3. So if I remember correctly, let me see if I think you can just put 1.3 in there. Nope. Oh God, I haven't done this in forever. Maybe it's up 1.3. Bad format. Oh, God help me. I'm telling you, I haven't flown this thing in so long. We got to put our flaps position in there. Let's just try 0.8 and see what it says. Nope, not going to do that either. Oh, no, I'm an idiot. It should be flaps. Does this say which flaps to use? It just says the trim. So let's do flaps 1. My brain's not functioning. And then let's see if it'll let us. So flaps 1/up. And then it should be a space 1.3. Let's see if that works. Hey! Why is it saying bad format again? It worked, but it said bad format. No, good times. Okay, so and then it put our flex temp in there, so we're good on that. So go to next phase. That's climb. I'm good with that as is. I don't usually mess with that. Same thing for cruise and descent. And then approach. We'll put in our QNH and our temperature as well as our wind and all that stuff as we're getting ready for the approach. And then that's it for all of that. Let's see what else. Come on now. Oh, there we go. Go to flight plan. Click on Phoenix. Click on departure. And the wind is 170 at 9. So let me think. I got to think about a compass now for a second. So it would be, yeah, 25 left or right, or 26. Now we're going to use 25 right. And let me show you why, since I haven't shown you this yet anyway. Okay, so we're over here on the N1 concourse right here. In general, at Phoenix, they do not depart via runway 26 or 8. They use that almost exclusively for landing. On occasion, when they're really busy, you'll see a couple aircraft go that way. So we're going to use 25 right because it's the longer of the two runways, and technically, as hot as it's been out here, we would really need to use runway 25 right. So when we push back, we'll go out here on Juliet to, I think this is Charlie. Yeah, to Charlie. Now, this is an interesting little thing. You would think, because here in America we drive on the right side of the road, that we'd cross over on this taxiway. There's actually a bridge here, and the roadways go underneath, but we don't. They actually use the left side. So we'll be using Sierra to cross over, and then we cross all the way out here to Echo, and then we take Echo down to Echo 13 and hold short there. So there you go. So it's going to be runway 25 right. There we go. And our departure is Judith 4. So scroll. To go down on the list, you use the up arrow. Judith 4. There she is. And then we're going to insert it into the flight plan. There it is, 25 right. That's Vector's stuff there. And why is it not? I keep thinking I'm missing something here that's making it so that it's not showing our speed, our altitudes and stuff, because it should be showing our altitudes. Maybe we just need to connect these for now. Yeah. So for now, because we'll insert later, what we want to do is go clear this one. Just like that. But it's still not putting our altitudes in there. And I don't know why. We've got everything in there, right? V1, V-rotate, V2. Everything except our approach, which actually makes sense. So I'm not really sure why it's not completing that yet. We should be good to go at this point. We've got all our performance stuff done. Flight plan is good to go. Initialization is done. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Block fuel. Gotta hit the arrow to the right there. I knew there was something. Block fuel is 6.02. It'll probably have to be 6.0. It doesn't take it that precise, so. Why is it not loading the cargo yet? Load the cargo. Okay, now we should be good to go. Yep, there we go. We hadn't put in the block fuel yet. So now it's giving us our altitude restrictions and all of that, which we're going to have to pull up here in a second. Put the slash in and leave out the space. Okay. A little behind on that one. Or I'm behind on reading the comment. It doesn't matter. Okay, Airbus, I kind of get what you're saying, but we're not actually using ATC on this one. I don't use ATC right now because all the ATC programs suck. So, I'm not going to be asking ATC permission to do anything. And there's hardly any airplanes out there because I had to turn my traffic way down because my traffic manager thing wasn't working properly. So, it is what it is. Now we got to wait for cargo to load. You can do it instantly by just clicking here, which we'll do so that we can press on. Okay, so now cargo's loaded, and then I can close the doors. Our initialization is done here, but we haven't looked at our departure yet. Now we're not going to look at our departure as we taxi out because I'm going to be busy taxiing. So let me pull up Judith 4 over here. You'll see the little download thing pop up. Cancel that out. We don't need it. And let's look at Judith 4. So we're taking runway 25 right, which is this guy right here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be climbing out at 258 degrees until we hit 1,640 feet, and then we'll start a left turn direct to Davies, whatever it is. And then once we hit that, another left turn to 173 degrees out to Vans. We need to be at or below 8,000 at Vans. Let's make sure that that lines up here. Vans, 8,000. The little star means that there's a restriction there. Let's see if it shows us. It doesn't show us at or below. It just shows that there's a restriction. So at or below 8,000 at Vans. I'll bring this back over here for you. And then I guess this inset just belongs right here. So from Vans out to Clubs, then out to the Gila Bend VOR. I've flown out to Gila Bend a bunch of times from right here at Goodyear. And then that takes us out to Judith, and then out to Mohawk. And pretty much by then, let's see, flight level 180 is the minimum flight level for this airway here between Gila Bend and Mohawk. So we should hopefully be well above that. We'll see. Once we get past Vans, we're going to start climbing. And that's pretty much it. And then we're going to be on our top of descent before you know it. So let me change this to... Now the view's going to change. Okay. Now the scenery's probably going to hop all over the place. Okay, San Diego. Now, it's saying for San Diego we want to take the Lindy 4 arrival. So let me pull that up first for you. Lindy 4, watch for the download pop up. Don't need it. There we go. And, okay, this is going to be all kinds of fun. Looks like, let's rotate this, huh? It's a little hard to see from the side. We're coming from over here. This way here is north. This is north over here. So we're coming off of IPL to Lindy 4. So this is going to be our guy right here. So IPL to Kumba and then to Greed. I got to turn my head sideways to read. We got to be between 12 and 14,000 feet at Greed. That's an interesting name. Down to Jack between 10 and 11,000. Then to Mora, we got to be at or above 8,000. Lucky at or above 6,100, and then Lindy at or above 5,000. Okay, so there's our arrival. Now let's take a look at what our approach is going to entail. View changes again. Okay, 220 at 6. That means that's going to mean that is going to mean, because it shouldn't change that much, but we'll check here in a second. That should mean runway 27 for us, which is fantastic. So 220 at 6 and 1012 on the millibars. All right. Sweet. Now let's double check. It's going to take a little over an hour. There's 2 hours there. Same wind. Yeah, it's only turning more towards the runway we want. You see how I'm doing the little forecast down here. So like 8 hours from now, it should be 250 at 4 knots and so on. So you guys get the point there, right? And I'm kind of drolling on a little bit. I don't know. I'm excited about this, but at the same time, I feel like I'm stumbling along here. So let's hop back down here. Let's put in our arrival. So if we click on KSAN, arrival, and then it's the localizer 27. There's no ILS for 27. You can do the RNAV. We're just going to do the localizer 27. It's pretty much a hand approach. And Lindy 4. And where do we say we're coming in at? IPL, not TNP. So we're not going to use that transition. Let's see if there's any other transitions. There is not. So we'll go with no transition. There we go. Insert that. And then if you look on here now, it takes us all the way out. Let's find IPL. Wow, why is it going so slow? There's Gila Bend. Why is it going so slow all of a sudden? Should just go right away. BZA, Heeds, there's IPL. And that's also right before our top of descent. And then down to Lucky. Looks like it skipped a couple in there. It went from IPL straight to Lucky. So if we look on here, it went IPL straight down here to Lucky and then to Lindy. I don't really like that, to be honest with you. So why don't we put in a couple of those waypoints? Let's clear that out. Good to go there. And then, so before Lucky, we want Kumba. K-U-M-B-A. Kumba, then Lucky. And then after Kumba, we want Greed. And you can see, literally, I just put them in the scratch pad, and then I click on the one I want it to come before. There's Greed, and then it goes there. Now at Greed, we need to be between 12 and 14,000. That altitude is going to work fine for me. So I'm not, instead of messing with it, that's the altitude it's going to put us at. I'm good with that. Next is Jack with 2 Ks. And I saw somebody had a really long comment on there, so I'll get to that in a second. So again, that comes before Lucky, but after Greed, so we'll click here. Okay, there's Jack, and then after Jack is Mora with 2 A's. M-O-R-A-A. And again, before Lucky. There we go. Scroll it down a little bit so we can see. After, let's make sure Mora, it says 8,430. I know that's a little hard to read, but that's good. We got to be at or above 8,000. And then after Mora is Lucky, and then Lindy. Now, last thing we want to do here, Localizer 27. Little download pop up here, no problem. Get rid of that. And so this will be our approach, and we'll brief this in a little bit. But I just want to look on here. So we're going from Lindy to Vita, and then to, I don't even know how to say that, and then to Rebu. I'm very familiar with Rebu. So let's just make sure that's on here. So Lindy, and then Vita, and then O'Kane. Okay, I missed that one. That's on the chart. Decelerate, whatever that one's called, Rebu, and then into KSAN. Good to go. Okay, so we've got our flight planned all the way out. Now let me see what we got written over here. This is from Shaker. The problem I have with the Aerosoft Airbus is the damn fly-by-wire system, for whatever reason, absolutely will not work on my machine. No matter what I do, I have no throttle control. Oh. Yeah, okay. So, Shaker, are you using FSU IPC? I'll leave that question floating for a minute, and then when you answer, I'll get to that. But that being said, if you go over here to Options, Aircraft, I believe, you can turn the fly-by-wire off. So, but if it's your throttles, it's not the fly-by-wire. So if you're using FSU IPC, did you... come on, my brain does not want to work. Let me go to doors real quick before I forget. Did you set up your throttles through FSU IPC? I'm assuming you probably did. Go in here real quick. Okay. See this little Lua debug thing? This is what you need to make it work. And I don't remember how to set that up, but I know somebody who does. So if you don't have this going on, then I'm more than willing to help you get that set up. However, another thing you can try is not mapping your throttles through FSU IPC, but instead map them, just the throttles, in the default. Because the problem you're talking about that you have with Aerosoft Airbus, I actually have that problem with the black box Airbus. And the only way for me to get them to work in the black box Airbus is to map them through the default flight FSX mapping, and then I have to have them inverted. It's kind of stupid. Anyway. Let's close the doors. We're all boarded up here. Or loaded up, whatever. Cargo. You gotta really make sure they start blinking when you click to close them. Okay, and let's move that jetway back. Did it just open the door? Yeah, it just opened it. I closed it. Main exit closing. There we go. And that should take us to the next checklist.
Captain, the cabin
So
is
give them a
secure.
second.
All passengers are aboard.
Before start checklist.
Windows and doors.
Closed and locked.
APU.
Okay, so you got to turn the APU on, master switch here, and then click start.
Set on.
APU bleed.
And now you can't do the APU bleed until the APU is done firing up. So usually, especially if I'm in a hurry, I'll fire that thing up before the checklist even starts. But you can see the APU spinning up right here. And once it's at 100%, we'll go ahead and click on the APU bleed. Shame on you, Shaker. Shame, shame, shame. Driving and watching Captain Mac. I do not want to be the cause of an accident. Oh, goodness. Just about there. So we want the APU spun all the way up before we put the bleed on. And we're just about there. There we are. Now it's available. Hop up here. APU bleed is... I know where it's at and I can't see it right now. Crossfeed, APU generator, APU bleed. There we go.
APU
Set
bleed.
on.
External power.
Okay, let's turn APU gen should be on now, right? Yep. So we can turn external power off. And then now here's the thing I found. This is kind of weird. When you turn the external power off, it doesn't automatically go away. So you got to go here to ground services. You have to disconnect it.
Disconnected and
And
off.
then we'll get rid of
Heaven
those
signs.
two.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Bearer reference.
So 1012.
Set. 1012.
1012. Check. Beacon lights.
Beacon lights.
Set on.
Checklist complete.
And that's the checklist. So now we're ready for pushback. Now with pushback, you can do start and push with them, or you can just do start. Now we're going to use GSX for pushback, and I haven't done this in a while, but we don't want them to push us. So let's get GSX up. Prepare for pushback and departure. Apparently it doesn't want to give us an option of which way we go. Are they even... Oh, come on. Please tell me my GSX is working. Okay. GSX ain't working. Oh, wait a minute. Did they change something on here? I don't know how far it is. How far back you guys think that is? Let's see. I hate that it's doing this. I hate the cameras on this thing. See, because of those cameras, it does this crap. So, fantastic. How far do you think that is? In feet. I'm assuming it's talking about the nose, right? So I would say that's... I mean, the aircraft is... What? Like 80 feet long? Something like that? Any thoughts, guys? Nobody's answering. Let's do this. Let's go 52 feet. And we want to go... Well, is it nose left? Let's just go left. 90 degrees. You know what? Let's go 45 degrees left. And start.
Flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, sir.
Ground, we have ATC clearance for push and start. Please confirm ground equipment and services are clear.
90
Roger.
feet, Pat. Oh, goodness.
The ground equipment and stairs are clear, all doors are closed. Steering pin is in position and we're ready when you are, Captain.
Start pushback.
Roger, sir. Please release your parking brakes.
Parking brakes released.
Start and pushback. You can start both engines at your discretion, Captain.
Okay.
Okay, so it's telling us start engine 2. Engine starts wicked simple on this. This knob here, you're going to click it, right click it once to ignition start over here. And then you're just going to click the fuel.
Starting engine 2.
And it's going to start spooling her up. Now the reason I did a 45-degree angle, they actually do that here because of this. So sometimes they'll push back 45 degrees. If you're at this gate, they'll push you straight back and then they'll pull you forward. But I've never gotten FSX to, even with GSX, it doesn't pull you forward. It just pushes you back. So we'll go 45 degrees and that should put us, there's actually a marker out there, which they did not include in their setup here. Jeez, I guess I guessed wrong on the distance, huh? Because it should be stopping us like right about here. I'll push us right into that thing. Oh, let's see if we can stop the pushback.
Engine 2 is stabilized.
Doesn't look like it. Guess we're stuck with it. Oh no, it stopped. Just in time, it looks like. Okay. To start engine 1, you just click on it.
Number
Left
1.
click. Start spooling it up. Well, Pat. Yeah, there's an update to GSX, but last time I tried to update it, it crashed my friggin' flight simulator. So I don't care. I'm not messing with it. I'm sick of things not working. It drives me nuts how many things don't work. You set everything up, you go through all these extra steps. I mean, you're jumping through hoops to make sure all the different add-ons and stuff work together like they're supposed to. And then something just doesn't work. And then when you try to fix it, you have to fix 300 other things to make everything work again. It drives me insane. Oy. Absolutely drives me bonkers. Let's see. So we're just waiting for engine 1 to spool up here. Once that's done, we will press on from there.
Engine 1 is stabilized.
Oh.
Pushback is complete, Captain. Please set your parking brakes.
Oh, your timing sucks. See the aircraft started
Parking
rolling
brakes are
forward?
set.
Okay then, Captain. Tow bar disconnected. You know steering pin is removed. All clear. Signal on the right. Have a good run, sir.
And now we wait. There's actually supposed to be a third line here. There's a blue line that's supposed to be in the middle. Blue or green. I think it's blue, though.
After start checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Oh, it's this guy down here. Back to
Set.
normal.
APU bleed.
Turn that off.
Set
click it.
off.
APU master.
Set off.
Ground spoilers.
Okay, we got to arm those. And you can do that by either hitting Shift Tab or you can just right click the knob.
Set.
Rudder trim.
Checked 0.
Pitch trim.
Okay, so it's 1.3. Oh, come on. There's 1, right? Had to sneeze there, sorry. That should be 1.3. Come on. Said 1.3, right? Up 0.8. I thought we put in 1.3. Very well. I stand corrected.
Pitch trim.
Checked.
There we
Flight
go.
controls.
Okay, flight controls. You can either hop down here and click it on yourself. Where is it at? Flight controls. Or as soon as you start moving them, that thing will pop up. But we got to go full left.
Full left.
And we're just making sure everything moves properly.
Full right. Neutral. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Check. Flaps.
And I've got a button for that.
Flaps 1.
Anti-ice.
Off.
ECAM status.
Checked.
ECAM door page.
Click on the doors page, which is that one.
Checked.
Hand signal.
Received.
Checklist complete.
Alright, and then we'll start the taxiing checklist. Now, you can either start taxiing and wait till you get to 10 knots, or you can just click on it over here to start it. Pat, I feel your pain on that, man, and out of memory just kills me. I've got a really good system here, and you'll still end up with an out of memory. I've gotten crashes just randomly, unexpectedly. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Yeah, 1.3 up. That's what I thought as well, Cruz, and that's what I put in there, but it changed it back to 0.8. Look at that. It says right there, up 1.8, even though at one point it said 1.3. But I'm going to leave it at 0.8. That's fine. Whatever. So,
Taxiing checklist.
No flight.
is this one.
Set on.
Brake check.
So you have to be moving and then press the brakes,
Pedal press. Checked
or it
0.
won't work.
Check. Auto brakes.
I'll do that in just a sec. Hold on. Well, that view ain't gonna work, is it? Let's reset this. There we go. Okay. And she's just coasting up on her own. So auto brakes, we're gonna put them for max.
Max.
Takeoff data. Auto
Max.
brakes.
Reviewed.
FCU.
FCU. What is FCU? Flight control unit. Anybody know where you click the FCU on this? Anybody? Yeah, I know it had an input error, Cruz. It said input error or bad format, but it still showed up as 1.3. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Let me turn this off for a second. Alright. FCU. Where's FCU at, guys? I'm assuming it's probably down here. Just a guess, but...
FCU.
I don't see FCU on here. Let's look up here. Where is FCU? That can go off.
FCU.
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know where it's at, lady. Anybody know where FCU is? Autopilot? Oh, you could be right. Maybe they want us to set this. If you right-click the mouse here, you can go to 1,000-foot increments.
Set.
Flight
Okay.
instruments.
You were right.
Checked.
Checked. TO config.
We'll do the TO config in a second. Let me scroll this up. CP Gaming Chris, thank you, sir. Welcome aboard, by the way. That's the first time I've ever seen you on here. Great to have you here. Okay, so yeah, FCU was, I think of it as the MCP. I'm going to put this to 240. So,
TO config.
yeah, I'll get to it. That's what they call it in a Boeing. This is the MCP, but I guess they call this the FCU. So I'm assuming that stands for Flight Control Unit, maybe. We'll scroll that all the way up to 26,000 because it should maintain the speed or the altitude restrictions on its own. But technically the proper way to do it, as we know, is to put the restrictions in there. But I need the chart up, and I don't want to sit here and mess with the chart to make sure I've got the right altitude restrictions
TO
in there.
config.
Yeah, I'm getting to TO config. Did something just go? Oh, hey, CP Gaming Chris, thank you for following, buddy. I really appreciate that. Great to have you aboard. Okay, takeoff config is this button down here.
Set.
Checklist complete.
Here we go. Checklist complete. And SJAMO126 is following as well. Thank you very much.
Seats
Great
for
to have
takeoff.
you aboard as well, my friend.
Before takeoff checklist.
Really?
Brake temperature.
Checked.
Brake fans.
Off.
Engine mode selector.
Checked normal.
TCAS.
It's not on. TCAS. Dear God. Shoot EJI. That's what we're going to call you, because I have no idea how else to pronounce that. Where is TCAS? Come on. I'm having a hard time here, guys. Oh, we never even put this in. 2336, and
TCAS.
TCAS should be this guy, right? Yep. There we go. TARA. It's on. Say it. Say it. He's not going to say it, is he? Why isn't he saying it? I just put it on TARA.
TCAS.
She's starting to get annoying, isn't she? This is weather radar. Is there a tilt above option? Maybe that's what they want. Yep.
TARA, tilt above.
Exterior lights.
Okay, well, I'm not turning those on yet. I don't know why it jumped to... I'm not going to do strobes yet either. I don't know why it jumped to the before takeoff checklist. I think it's because I hit the #1 key to jump back to this view. And so we kind of got screwed on that. Thank you, CP Gaming Chris. Yep, it was. I had to set it to above. And she's going to keep saying exterior lights. I'm going to let her. We're going to taxi out, and we'll finish up that before takeoff checklist before we actually take off, which is probably the idea, right? So nice and slow out of here, and then once we round the corner, remember we're going to be taking Sierra Taxiway across. And they actually modeled the bridges in this scenery, so that's fantastic. I really like that. And remember too that our view technically should be right about here.
Exterior lights.
Yeah. Maybe I can change that. Let's get on another straight taxiway here, because we got to turn, and then I think I'm going to change that view, because I'm actually getting more used to looking down like this to be able to see what I need to see. So because you have to do that a lot in DCS, because of the heads-up display, you really got to have your head up close so you can see, which means you got to get used to looking down.
Exterior lights.
Oh, shut up! We'll get to them. She's just gonna keep saying that. So, all right, let me change this. Let me see if this will work here. So hit the #2 here. And if that doesn't work, I have another idea.
Exterior lights.
Ah, that's better. So that's a more natural view of what you would see if you were really sitting on this flight deck. You would have to look down at these, which can be a bit of a pain. But we're going to try and deal with it here. You know, I mean, you got to look down a little further than I'd like, but it is what it is. So that's not Sierra. That's the taxiway to the gates on the other side there. This is Sierra right here. It's got it on the ground. Tango is the next one. See, we don't have a sign here. So, lady, I will do the exterior lights, I promise. So you see the black square with the yellow lettering means that's the taxiway we're on. Yellow square with black lettering means that's the one you're crossing, or that you can turn to, however you want to put it. See if we got any good comments over here. Don't get dizzy from looking at the screen.
Exterior lights.
Set your speed and heading to managed. Left click the knobs. Oh, yeah, okay. So left click pull. I thought it was right click. Oh, I guess you're right. So what he's talking about, oh look, there's a big hole in the ground. I'm going to be pissed if we fall through that hole. I am going to be
Exterior
livid.
lights.
Come on. Like seriously, why is that even there? If we fall right now, that's going to suck, isn't it? Okay, it went right over it. Still, that kind of stinks that there's a big gap there. That's never been there before. So for you guys that are new to the channel, CP Gaming, I'm just going to call you Chris. We're just going to go with Chris. And the other one of you that just signed up, whose name I couldn't figure out how to say either. I actually work at Sky Harbor, so a lot of times we'll do flights out of here, and I like this scenery by Flightbeam. They've done a great job on it. They really have. So, although they don't have the SkyTrain complete, and at the airport it is actually complete in the real world. So, but anyway, yeah. So when you're dealing with the Airbus, you're either giving control to the aircraft,
Lights.
okay, or you're taking control yourself. So if you right click, that pulls the knob. And so a way to remember it is you pull control away from the aircraft, or you push control to the aircraft. So a left click, you're correct, Chris. A left click pushes the knob. Is there somebody coming? I hear an airplane, but I don't see an airplane.
Lights.
Chris is correct. You left click to push the knob. So by pushing it, what I've done is I've given control of the speed and the heading mode to the aircraft. And if I want to take control, I right click it, and that gives me immediate control. So, and she's really getting annoying saying exterior lights, isn't she? Also note that I'm actually using 0 throttle right now. My throttles, there they are, they're at idle. And the aircraft will continue to actually pick up speed, and I think that's actually incorrect. The idle on these engines is not strong enough to make this aircraft continue to move faster and faster. But if we look down here, where's ground speed at? Ground speed's 10 knots. You can see it right there. Okay, and if I don't touch the brakes or anything, it'll go up a little bit.
Exterior lights.
That's the only annoying thing about Track IR when I'm doing live stream is I've got another computer over here. When I want to look over here at comments, I got to turn way over here. It's a little ridiculous. Chris, it is not my first Airbus flight. However, it is the first one I've done in it's probably been 8 months since I've flown this aircraft. So it's been quite a while. We've been spending a lot of time. I don't know if you've been on my YouTube channel, Chris. We've been spending a lot of time in the field there. E-jets, the E195 and 175 on there. And then here on the live stream, we've done a few different aircraft actually. We've done the iFly 747. We've done the PMDG 737, PMDG 747, and what else? We did the Embraer Phenom. So we've done a bunch of different aircraft on here.
Exterior lights.
But this is the first Airbus, Aerosoft Airbus for Captain Mac, either live stream or YouTube channel. So in a way, yeah, first Airbus flight. That was probably a lot more information than you needed to answer that question, right? Let's see here. So yeah, you can see our ground speed's up to 13 knots now, 14. And I'm not, it's still on idle throttle, so. Alright, so let's bring in some brakes, try not to heat them up too much. And you can see our hold short line there. So we'll just start the turn here a little bit, then we'll finish this before takeoff checklist. Oh, it's a little easier when you can look up and see, right?
Exterior lights.
Yes, we know exterior lights. Okay, this will do for now. We'll stop right here. And let's go ahead and turn on those exterior lights before she loses her mind, huh? Take off there, on, and turn off lights on. Okay. Any others? Strobes, right?
Set on.
Sliding
Yep.
tables.
Stowed.
Stowed. Checklist complete.
Okay. That's it. Takeoff checklist complete. Let's get this bird in the air, huh? Any last questions before we get started? Chris, I would love to buy the FS Labs Airbus, but at $100, is if you had hopped in at the beginning of the stream, I was saying love to, but no moolah for that. Just don't have the money, so I think we're going to have to say no on that for a while. And we'll give a little throttle now. Let's get this on the runway and get going, huh? There we go. Okay, onto the runway. One thing I dislike in FSX is even using asymmetric thrust, it's actually pretty hard to make a really sharp turn onto a runway. I should be able to pull up to right about here and then just swing it around without it really moving forward at all. And it doesn't work very well. So it could just be me, but see, like, we're going to end up overshooting it instead of being right on top of, you know, we should be pretty much center line here. It came out pretty close. Boy Wonder, welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow, my friend. I appreciate it. Okay, we're ready to go, so we're going to set takeoff thrust, and I believe I'm just going to put it to max thrust. That's what I always do. So, everybody ready to go? I want it, but I have to wait for the P3D version. That's a shame. You're the guy that asked me if I played on FS Cloud. Yep. Yeah, I like I said in my comment to you, Boy Wonder, occasionally I do play on FS Cloud, but it's a little buggy. That's the thing. It's a little buggy, so not very often. Airbus 996, welcome aboard, my friend. Thank you. All right, guys, let's get this bird in the air. What do you say? Shaker, if you donate that to me, dude, you've already donated stuff. Shaker's my man. I'll tell you what. Shaker's good people. I did it when he got promoted to captain at PVA. I did an extra little video for him to congratulate him. I still got that video floating around somewhere. That's a cool little video. All right, let's get this bird in the air, shall we? Enough talky talk.
Take off. Man, toga, SRS, and runway.
Check. Power set.
Pretty good sound. Oh yeah, we got plenty of runway. Alright, let's do this.
100 knots.
Checked.
Check.
Beat 1. Rotate.
Pull the stick back. Now, this is where...
Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Navigation.
Check.
Let's follow that flight director. Turn this off.
Gears up. Lights off.
This is where it becomes an issue. See, because I can't see unless I have track IR on. Well, that scared the passengers. There. Yeah, we're going to have to stick with that view.
Climb thrust.
And we're still hand flying. We're not on autopilot yet.
Flap 0.
Speed check. Flaps 0.
And the after takeoff checklist.
Engine mode selector.
Check normal.
Spoilers.
Set.
Flaps.
Check retracted.
Landing gear.
Gear up. Lights off.
Exterior lights.
Passengers are freaking out, I bet you. Lights stay on. Yeah, my reaction time's a little off here, isn't it? Let's go ahead and get the autopilot on here before I make a mess of this thing.
Autopilot on.
Exterior lights need to stay on until we get above 10,000, obviously. You're going to make an A320 overhead panel.
Exterior lights.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool, Boy Wonder. Oh, I like the sound of that. Chris, what, are you talking about during the takeoff?
Exterior lights.
I should be stabilizing at 50% thrust first. I bet that's what he's talking about. So, again, exterior lights are supposed to technically stay on until we get above 10,000, so she's going to keep saying it until we get there. Give this a minute here.
Exterior lights.
That's the annoying part of the checklist, though, right? Is they just keep talking. But we're almost there. Oh, excuse me.
Exterior lights.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yes, you do what?
Exterior lights.
You lost me on that one. There's 10,000. Right click them.
Set off.
Tax.
Both on.
Anti-ice.
Off.
TCAS.
Checked.
Altimeter.
So altimeter stays where it's at until we get above 18,000. So we're going to have to listen to her say that one for a little bit as well. I have some photoreal scenery on the mountains down here. It looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Now I know somebody's going to say it, oh, give us an outside view. No, because it's a pain in the butt with the way the views work on this airplane. So you get an internal view. There you go. The exterior lights is the taxi lights and the runway turn-off lights. Yes, sir. But it's also the landing lights, right? If I don't turn off the landing lights, then it's not gonna. Then she's just gonna keep saying it, isn't she? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I mean, we're above 10,000 now, so I guess it doesn't matter at this point. Boy Wonder, you were saying the same thing. So you turn off the taxi lights and the runway turn-off lights for that checklist item. Okay, noted. Learn something new every time I do this. Don't I look cool, my Track IR hat? I thought about getting one of those clips, but everybody says they fall apart all the time, and I'm constantly taking my headset off and putting it back on, and I don't even want to mess with it. It's just ridiculous. So, anyway, we're cruising along here. Well, we're not cruising. We're still climbing. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. We're still at 10 miles. There we go. Zooming out to 40, and once we get above 18, obviously, we'll just pull on this by right-clicking, and that'll set it to standard. And then once we get to cruise altitude, it should be a cruise checklist, and there's nothing else to do until we get to get ready for top of descent. So I guess we're already at a point where if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to start asking them, and I'll do my best to answer them while still trying to pay attention to this so we don't crash. Love the clouds. Nothing? Crickets? Wow, there's a little delay. I keep forgetting that there's a little delay. You guys are just now seeing what I was saying. We kind of did a roll call at the beginning. Where's everybody from? Let's do that. That's always fun. Let's find out where everybody's from. Most of you already know, but for those of you who don't or didn't hear, I live in Phoenix area, and I work at the Phoenix airport. So good times. Philip 1133. It's bouncing around, so it's hard to see. Philip 1133 is now following. Thank you, sir, for the follow. I sure do appreciate it. You guys like that little airplane that pops up next to that thing when it says somebody's following? This guy did that. Yep, that's right. I did it. Pretty awesome, right? I love the King Air 200 and the 350. Fantastic. Cruise is out in London. Shaker's up in Montana. Well, he's not in Montana right now. He's in Portland, getting ready to go. I think you said Seattle, right? Slough, England, just off the M4. Okay, well, Cruise might know where that is, but I have no clue. Stabilize at 50% on takeoff. It's the first dot in the EXPR. You're talking over here. So you stabilize at 50% on the EPR, and then once it's stabilized, then you go to full thrust. Is that what you do? Pat up in Canada. Fantastic. 2 hours from Seattle for Shaker. if he doesn't run into anybody, since he's watching Captain Mac live while he's driving. While he's listening. He's doing more listening than watching. I know he is. Oh, we're above 18. I should be paying attention. So just right click it, pulls it, puts it on standard, and we're good to go on that. Okay, alright, so I've never really noticed the dot on here, but what Chris is saying, for those of you who weren't following, is there's a dot on here for the 50% on the EPR. So you run the throttles to 50%, and then once they stabilize there, then you go ahead and bring them all the way to either max thrust or, what is it, flex? Max thrust or flex, right? Okay, that's good. Learn something new there. We're going to have to fly this thing some more. If I ever do get a hold of that FS Labs Airbus, I definitely want to dig into that thing, because they did pretty good. My understanding is they did pretty good with the complexity on this one. I do know a couple of Airbus pilots, and they've played around with this and said it's not that bad, actually. It does lack a few things. One of the things it lacks that actually bugs me, and Blackbus Airbus has this, is the air start. So these two guys right here, and now if somebody knows better, and maybe Chris does, if you need to do an air start, if you have an engine go out or something like that mid-air, you can use these to restart in the air. Is that correct, Chris? Flex is the second click you hear. Okay. Matthew 1214, dude, play a real game. What game would that be, Matthew? What game is it that you would like to see me play? This isn't really a game, so fair enough. You know, I get where you're coming from. This is, you know, especially hardcore guys would be really upset if you call this a game. It's a simulator. And actually a pretty darn good simulator, to be honest with you. But Matthew 1214, do you have a particular game in mind that you'd like to see played on here? And maybe we'll think about it. We are going to be doing some DCS on here eventually, so, and that's some pretty hardcore stuff, actually. I play Call of Duty on the PS3 and 4 quite a bit. I've never actually done it for a live stream. You got to understand, Matthew. Now, I don't know if you've hopped on here before, but I have a YouTube channel right now that's just dedicated to flight sim. I've done a little bit of other stuff on there. I did some trucking sim for a little bit, but it's mainly dedicated to flight sim. And so when I started this Twitch channel, it was to complement my YouTube channel, and that's why you haven't seen anything like Call of Duty or something like that on here. I do enjoy playing Call of Duty. Zombies are a good time. I definitely enjoy killing zombies. But I haven't really done anything like that on here. This is presently sticking primarily to flight simulation stuff, but I probably am going to branch out at some point, because I play a lot of different games. I love playing. I'm a video game guy. You probably wouldn't know it looking at me, but I'm a video game guy. It's absolutely a good time, and I love it. So, you know, maybe one of these days we'll see some of that on here. But I have to admit, I don't play Call of Duty enough, so my 5-year-old's better at it than I am now. That being said, to be fair, I was a Marine for 14 years, and I have 3 combat tours in Iraq, so I sort of played Call of Duty for real. Speaking of which, where's Sergeant, what's his name? Sergeant Ugly, Sergeant Meanie, something like that. I don't see him on here today. Well, we're at cruise altitude. Let's see if we can do a cruise checklist here. Next page. Still doing after takeoff. Let's get that item.
Checklist complete.
Oh, now my checklists are all frozen up. We might be in trouble for checklists. Why is it doing that? Let's turn the co-pilot on and see if that changes anything. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, because it's not doing the climb or cruise checklist. It's weird. Front row Orge. Just have to wait and see what happens. You have to make a flex takeoff every time. Oh, okay, okay. So it's supposed to be a flex takeoff. Oh, alright. Chris is schooling me on the Airbus here. So rather than using toga mode, normally we would just put it in flex mode for takeoff, and then we should flex to the percentage that it shows on here, right? Why did that switch to cruise? We don't want to activate approach phase yet. I think our checklist crapped out on us for some reason. I don't understand why, but it's not showing the climb, which of course we're already above. I mean, we should be doing cruise now, so hopefully it'll give us the descent prep checklist, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. What time is it anyway? Hour and a half already. Woo! Goodness gracious. Can you crash? Are you saying you want me to crash the airplane, Matthew 1214? I can, but I'm not going to. No. Now, if you do crash it, it doesn't really do what you think. It just freezes up, or it doesn't freeze. It shows the whole airplane, and you get like this red screen, and it says you have crashed. That's it. What's 2142, cruise? You've learned from the tutorials on YouTube, Chris? Not mine, apparently. I know you want me to, Matthew, but I'm not going to. What is 2122, cruise? Oh, I asked what time it was. Yeah, it's 2122 for you. That's GMT, by the way. That's the time he's given. In airports, when the runway isn't long enough, it'll make you use toga mode. Okay. Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time with the Airbus. I'm a big Boeing fan, so I certainly know a lot more about the Boeing aircraft. But, yeah, that's cool. Learning some stuff. I'm enjoying it. Good times. I got an itchy nose. The only downside, of course, is now we're just sort of stuck in cruise. We're almost to Mohawk. Oh, let's see. What's our expected arrival time here? Expected at 21:10 UTC, keeping in mind that the time is not accurate in here. It's 20:44 right now, so not that long actually. Right now. Whoa, stupid ATC just kicked in my ears. Yes, 13:23 Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Shaker. You're gonna give me money if I crash the plane, Matthew. How much money are you going to give me to crash a plane? I'll tell you what. You post $500 in there, I'll crash the plane. How's that? Boy, he really wants me to crash the plane, doesn't he? Is it true that Americans prefer Boeing and European prefer Airbus? Is that a question or a statement? If it's a statement, it kind of makes sense, you know. No, I'm not high yet, Cruz. Give me time. Remember, high on approach. Matthew, I'm not going to crash the plane, buddy. You're the only one on here who wants the plane crashed. Nice eat off for the money, though. I appreciate it. He really wants that plane crashed. Why do you want the plane crashed, Matthew? A question? Chris, I would say that for the most part, yeah, it probably is true. Yeah, most Americans probably prefer Boeing and Europeans probably prefer Airbus. But it's probably a generalization. You couldn't really say that's that's a definite across the board. But I would say generally, yeah, probably because Airbus is made by a conglomerate of European nations and Boeing is, made in America. So, okay, I don't actually smoke weed, Matthew. When he was asking if I was high, he was making a joke based on a statement that I made in a previous live stream. High on approach does not mean high on from smoking weed or anything else. It means I'm too high for the approach, altitude wise, and I'm still not crashing the plane. Serial Black, we be getting the Flight Sims Labs 320 at some point. Serial Black, I definitely want to get it, but because of the cost, Shut up, Chris. Because of the cost, it's going to probably be a while before I can get it. Matthew, I'm not going to crash the plane. Get over it. But yeah, I definitely would like to get the Flight Sim Labs 320. It's just a finance issue, that's all. So, but one of these days when I can afford it, I will get it, and I will absolutely do my best to learn every detail about it. I'm already learning a lot from some of you guys on here about the Airbus itself, so pretty excited about that. I'll have to try to remember all that stuff now because I don't fly it that often. So, when is Flight Sim 2016 due for release? There is no such thing as Flight Sim 2016. Microsoft discontinued the Flight Simulator franchise. So Flight Simulator X was the last one Microsoft did. Lockheed Martin bought licensing rights and created P3D, which is FSX, but with some enhancements. And Dovetail Games also bought licensing rights, and their flight school that they just released and the flight simulator that they intend to release at some point is still FSX. So FSX is, other than X-Plane, FSX is one of the few flight sims out there. There's a couple others that are, I'm trying to think of the one that uses JSB Sim, but anyway, they will not, nobody's making a Flight Simulator 2016. Why not be high, Chris? What do you mean? Be high on approach or be high like on drugs? If it's high on drugs, I've never touched drugs in my life. I'm never going to. That's just me. I have no desire to smoke weed or anything else. It's just not me. So it's $150 in Canada, Serial Black. Wow, that's a steep price, man. It's supposed to be really thoroughly done. It's supposed to be better than PMDG. So I don't know, but yeah, it's still a lot of money. So. Shaker, you know I love you, buddy. If you know, if you donate, you donate. But if you don't worry, man. Don't worry. How do I give you money? Because I will give you $500. You're not gonna donate $500 to me to crash a stupid airplane in a flight sim when you don't even see anything. I don't even have crashes and damage detected turned on because cars drive right through you when you do, and it crashes the airplane. So if I try to crash this thing right now, it's going to bounce off the ground and then it's just going to fly again. That's all it's going to do. High on weed because it's stupid to be high on approach. It's better to be high on approach than it is to be low on approach. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, I'll tell you what, boys. I'll tell you what. Where is top of descent on this thing? Let's figure that out real quick. There's top of descent. I think we're up a creek on checklist. I don't think it's going to do checklist for us anymore, which really kind of sucks because I don't actually have the checklist next to me. So yeah, I was kind of relying on that thing, and now it's not working, which means we're going to be winging it. We're going to be winging it. We're going to be using basic airman knowledge and basic aircraft knowledge to go through checklists for descent. So that's going to be fun. You don't give up easy, do you, Matthew? How old are you, Matthew? God help us all. Matthew's following now. That's thanks for the follow, Matthew. 15 years old. Yep. I have 2 kids older than you. And then 6 kids younger than you. Volcano Jeffo, you got it right. Click donation through PayPal, donate $500, and then I'll do it. I seriously doubt Matthew has $500 to donate. I'm not going to crash it because you followed. Good times. Yeah, that seems about right, Serial Black. I don't know why it jammed up. It probably would have been wise for me to have the paper checklist on hand. But again, I haven't flown this thing in like 8 months. I rarely fly it. And I don't know. You see all these things on these are all checklists on the wall. I've got another clipboard down here with checklists. all these books back here. These are all checklists because I fly so many different aircraft. And I'm here to tell you now, I'm probably going to start flying this one a little more regularly. So that being said, I'm going to have to print up the checklist, because when you fly all these different airplanes and there's different procedures for all of them, holy cow, you just can't remember everything. It's just not possible. So yeah. Discord, Mr. Wise Guy, what are you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Mr. Wise Guy is now following, though. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Welcome aboard. I'm assuming you're a sir, since your name is Mr. Wise Guy. If you're a lady, well, or a woman or a girl or whatever. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow. I sure do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that follows. Discord is a gamer's chat software. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never used Discord, and that's, I think I've heard of it before, briefly. But I do tend to use TeamSpeak, so 13 is your age, I'm assuming, Mr. Wise Guy? That's a guess, by the way. I do use TeamSpeak. I actually use TeamSpeak a lot. I've got a bunch of different channels bookmarked on TeamSpeak because I use it so often. It's a little ridiculous, actually. Well, welcome aboard, Mr. Wise Guy, 13 years old. Glad to have you here. We got a pretty wide spread, actually. I know Pat's an old guy. I'm an old guy. We know Matt's 15. And Mr. Wise Guy's 13. So Shaker's parking in 15 minutes, and then he can watch on the laptop. Good times. Shaker's an old guy, too. He drives a semi-truck for a living. Chris is 16 and knows more about the Airbus than I do. Shaker's 45. Boy Wonder's 11. You're probably the youngest one in here, Boy Wonder. If you buy the game, can we play together? That's actually a tricky question there, Matt. There is a way to do shared flight deck. Oh, dear God, it just froze. It just froze. Oh, you son of a... Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Let's see if it's pause at top of descent. Ah, it was pause at top of descent. I didn't know I even had that turned on. Okay, let's go ahead and bring our altitude down. Let me see. What do I got over here? We need to be at 4,000 at Vita. So let's bring it to 4,000. And as soon as we start the descent, and in order to start the descent, Chris will be quick to make sure I'm correct on this, you just push on the knob, left click the knob to push it, and it'll start the descent. Once we start it, then we'll actually brief the approach. So back to your question, Matt. It's a little tricky. There is a way to do shared flight deck on this, but it doesn't work quite as smoothly or as well as it should, and it can be a real pain in the backside. And it's only certain airplanes. You can't do it with all aircraft. So you're supposed to be able to do it with the Airbus, but I've never been able to get it to work with a friend of mine. And then you're supposed to be able to do it with the Majestic Dash 8, excuse me, Q400, but I've never been able to get that to work either. Now, it has something to do with my router, probably. Have to have certain ports open or something like that. The point being, it's actually a real pain to get it to work. That being said, this thing's 70 bucks for the, I think it's 70 for the Airbus. And then if you want the Majestic Q400, you would have to get the Pro version, because that's the version I fly with, and that would cost you 90 bucks. And then on top of that, if you want to get FSX, because you'd need that to fly either one of those, right now, for some reason, some ungodly reason, I have no idea why, people are charging 150 bucks for FSX. So, unless you already have a copy of FSX, and you're willing to spend the amount of money that it takes to buy the aircraft, probably not going to get a chance to fly together. Let's see. Cruise is 59 and a half. 27 for Volcano Jeffo. You fly 3 aircraft, the Q400, Airbus Series, and NGX. Yep, those are all. I fly all of those. Have you been onto my YouTube channel, Serial Black? Because I've got a bunch on there for the Q400. Did a really good cold and dark start tutorial on that. Pretty long, but it's pretty good too. So 29 for Audio Horror Gamer. 29 years old. So we can crash. Matthew just wants to fly with me so we can crash the plane. Yeah, top of descent, white arrow right here. And we're just about on top of it, so we'll click on the button here once we cross over that top of descent. And then I'll look at a couple more comments, and we'll do the approach briefing. So there we go, descent has begun. Let's see, 41 for serial black. Fly 2 different planes so you can crash into me. Not in, you could, but it'd be kind of a pain in this. You'd be better off doing that in DCS world, actually. So, Shakers, NGX 777 and iFly 747. That iFly 747 is fantastic. Yeah, you're right. It's $20 on Steam, Volcano. I'm just going to call you Jeff, dude. It's $20 on Steam, but there are people actually charging $150 for the boxed version. I have the Steam version, but I'm not flying Steam version. I'm flying boxed version. So, Boy Wonder says, I have the A320 and FSX. We could fly together. Yeah, maybe if we could ever get it to work. I'm gonna try and do something eventually where I get a chance to fly with some of you guys. If nothing else, maybe fly in FS Cloud or something like that where we can all just fly together. I definitely want to set something like that up eventually. So make sure to fill out your performance page in MCDU1. You're talking for Arrival, right? Audio Horror Gamer. I'm just calling you Gamer 420 now. You have to brief before descent because it can change the top of descent with different arrivals. Yeah, but we actually already put it in, Chris, just for simplicity on this flight because I'm trying to do this here and this here, so it's not going to change in this case. Oh, you've watched most of the videos, Serial Black. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and take care of the approach briefing. And here we go. Maybe. Why is it not letting me scroll? Okay. So it's the not the ILS, the localizer 27 approach. Last check on the weather, it was 220 at 6. We can double check that right now. And back to 0, and it is 200 at 8, so it's still going to be runway 270, so we're good on that. We need to put 110.9er in the nav radio. We'll take care of that here in a couple of minutes. We're coming in from Lindy, 240 degrees from Lindy over to Vita, and at Vita we need to be at 4,000 feet. Turn right to 275 degrees to O'Kane, then whatever that one, however you pronounce that one, then to reboot, and then on in from there. And so profile view, here you have it, 4,000 feet coming in here at Vita, and then O'Kane, just past O'Kane is actually the descent point, so we'll try to remember to do that at 11.8. That is 11.8 from, where's the localizer? It's not showing the localizer on here. Well, either way, it's 11.8 from the localizer, which is the IUBR, so that's distance 1.3. Yeah, I don't actually see it on the top-down view here, but anyway, that's about where we start our descent, right on past whatever that's called, then to reboot at 2,000 and on in from there. Missed approach procedure, climb out at heading 275, intercept the 255 degree radial for the MZB VOR, that's Mission Bay up here, and climb to 2,500 out to Sargs and then hold there. If we do a missed approach, we'll start the climb out there, but we won't intercept the radial. Once we climb out a little bit, we'll just make a left turn, come all the way back around and try the approach again, but I really hope we don't have a missed approach. So let's put 110.9 in there real quick. Oh, you know what? Let's double check. The altimeter is 2986, so what is that in millibars? I forgot. We're on millibars. Oops. 1011. Okay. So 1011 millibars. Good to go there. And 110.9 on the nav radio. And it's already in there, 110.9. We can put the course in. It's 275 degrees. There we go. Course is in there. And then we can go in here to performance. And it's, what do we say it was? 200, wind was 200 at 8, right? Yep, 200 at 8. So if we go in here to the approach phase, 1011 on the QNH. I didn't grab the temperature, of course. Oy. What's the temperature? 24 degrees Celsius. 24. It is Celsius, by the way. And then 200/8 for our wind. And there we go. And we're going to be doing full flaps landing And radio altimeter 200 feet. Bam. And we're good to go. So, and we're not going to activate the approach phase quite yet, though. Alright, so I think we're pretty much set up, although I would say we are ridiculously low, right? Were we? Oh yeah, we were supposed to be between. What was it at Jack? Oh, I gotta pull it up again now. Little download thing will pop up here. Cancel that. Don't need that. Let's see. At Jack, we're supposed to be between 10 and 11. So yeah, we're actually pretty much spot on right now. Fantastic. What do we got going over here? Okay. Let's see. Jesus, you guys went nuts on the comments here, didn't you? Just bought it for 20 so we can crash together. Did you buy the Steam version, Matt? I did do the perf page. So we're good on that. Should have briefed before descent. Live and learn. Yeah, I'm not flying the Steam version, Matt, so we can't fly together. Yeah, I was already on descent, Gamer 420. Everybody thinks high on approach has to do with weed. Hey, Kilo Romeo, great to have you aboard. Yep, better late than never, my friend. You live 30 minutes from CYYZ. How many FPS do you have when stream and not stream? Well, we're streaming right now, and what is it? Shift Z, right? We're getting 30 frames a second at altitude. So, and you can't see that because it's behind this thing here. See, my mouse disappears. But right now I'm getting 30 frames per second is my average. It's actually going a little bit over that. But it'll probably drop down a little as we get closer to San Diego here. What else we got here? Matthew's a troll, just ignore him. Yeah, I kind of figured he was probably a troll, but maybe he's not. He did follow, so, you know, but you are acting a bit like a troll, Matt. And I do have the Steam version already, but I don't fly it. I don't have it installed. I just have it in case my box version ever craps out. I'm not missing the mountain in front of me. I know it's there. Could be referring to cocaine. Yeah, I suppose it could, but it doesn't. Oh, you guys are killing me. Matt, are you a troll? Are you a troll, Matt? Isaiah, I don't know what HH... Oh, I guess you were trying to type hi. What is my setup? You mean my PC specs? I've got a Asus motherboard. I forget which one. I've got an i7-4790 processor with a GTX 980 graphics card. But a friend of mine actually just gave me, that's right, gave me for free a GTX 980 Ti because he got the new 1080. So I will probably install that eventually. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, I believe. Yeah, 32 gigs of RAM. And I've got 2 terabytes of hard drive space. There you go. Don't feed the troll. The troll wants me to crash. Are you a troll, Matt? Be honest with us. Isaiah, welcome aboard, my friend. Great to have you following. I sure do appreciate it. Who's the good friend? Or are you saying it? Are you saying my setup's good? You lost me there. Matt says he's not a troll, guys. Matt says he's not a troll. Do we believe him? Or not? Let's find out what our approach speed is while we think on these things. I think we can activate approach phase here now. Yep, confirm. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. So I guess that's actually a little confusing. Well, V approach is 144. That's all I need. I'll worry about the rest another time. Well, that got a little choppy there for a second, huh? So 144 is our VREF. We are slowing down now. We can bring in a setting of flaps here pretty soon, but not quite yet. You got your flap speeds on a little placard right here. So flaps 1, 230 knots or less, which we're just about to drop below that now. That's actually slats. Slats plus flaps is 215. So that's what we're going to go to here once we get down just a little bit. And that's what this little dot is supposed to mean. Correct, Chris? That's what the little dot is for? My flying... Oh, you were asking what my flying setup is. Who gave me a GPU? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a good friend. I actually use 2 monitors to fly. Not 3, but apparently you use 3. That's what I'm getting from that. So let's bring the slats in. Let's see if this works. Yeah, we're good. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm going to have to stop looking at comments here in a second. My flying setup... Excuse me. There, we got a cough in. Howlux is now following. Thank you, Howlux. Welcome aboard. I use CH pedals for my rudders. I've got a Cytec yoke and a CH yoke. I switch between the two because occasionally one of them acts up. And those are what I use for flying anything that typically flies with a yoke. And then I've got a TQ6 throttle quadrant from, what's the name of them? 4Flight or something. I forget the name of them. And that's all stuff I use when I'm flying like Boeing. But when I am flying, let me get this speed down. 144 is what it said. When I'm flying Airbus or military aircraft, I use an X55 HOTUS setup, so hands-on throttle and stick. So, there you go. That's basically my flight setup. It's a nice CRJ you're flying. It's not a CRJ. Now you are acting like a troll.
Traffic.
Well, I don't know where the hell he's at. Let's lock in the localizer. See, look, we're already too high. Oh, because I took it down to 4,000, didn't I? Okay. Autopilot coming off.
Autopilot off.
Thank you. And what the heck? Wrong button. Bring the gear down. Ha! We're high on approach, boys. That's alright, we've been scaring the passengers this whole flight anyway. Hey Matt, you might get your crash, huh? Don't feed the troll. Oh, let's get this thing down. We're supposed to be way down here. Nosedive. We're good. We're good, we'll make it. Even if we have to side slip it. Wouldn't be the first time. Although this thing does not side slip well because of the, oh, shut up. I know, we're going a little fast. Let's go. Spoilers out. Nope, they're armed. Dear God. This thing's not slowing down at all, is it?
Sync rate.
Oh, shut up. Think I can land it?
Traffic.
How is it so damn high?
Pull up.
We're good.
500.
Sync rate.
400.
Sync rate.
300.
Wow, it got really choppy, didn't it?
2
Sync
minimum.
rate.
300. 300. 200.
Whoa.
100. 70. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 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 Retard.
That wasn't that bad considering we were ridiculously high. If we don't run off the end of the runway. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. I would say I should be ashamed of that one, but I'm actually kind of proud. Oh, I don't know why it got so choppy though. What do you say we take the first gate here? Who's impressed by my mad flying skills? Nobody? Whew. Those flaps up. I made an absolute mess of this. We never did landing lights, nothing. See, I got all out of sync. Oh well. Live and learn. Alright. Turn that off. Wow. What do you guys think? Why is it saying retard? It's calling me a retard. You're ready to bail out. Yeah, it was getting close. I thought we were going to have to bail, but we managed to get her in there. So, okay. So, we could turn the APU on. We're not going to do that. I'll tell you what I am going to do, though. Let's hook up ground power. Stupid checklist. Ground services. Put the wheel chocks on. Traffic cones out. And let's do a normal ground power. It's connected. And hop up top here. Ground power is available. There it is. Well, it got really choppy here in San Diego, didn't it? And now we can go ahead and shut these down. Right click them. I made an absolute mess of that one. That's alright though. It happens, right? I won't be getting rave reviews from the passengers. No, not on this flight. between the takeoff and the landing, I scared the crap out of them most of the time. Oh boy, I made a complete mess of that approach though, didn't I? But yay, we got it in there, and we actually landed pretty smooth. So, you know, we'll just tell the passengers that we had to land because we were out of fuel. They'll like that a little better, right? No. Probably not, huh? Alright, stand by. I don't know why it makes me go to the view twice. Woo! I guess they probably want to offload, huh? The jetway won't connect. Whatever. They can jump out. I don't really care. I stopped pretty close to where I was supposed to. We were supposed to be on that spot right there, so the jetway should connect, but it's not gonna, so whatever. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in beautiful San Diego. Again, I don't remember who did this scenery. The name escapes me presently, but they did a really good job on it. And this right here, all of these buildings, this is actually Marine Corps recruit training centers, boot camp for Marines, and that's where I went to boot camp at. And let me tell you, it sucks watching planes take off every day, and you're stuck there for 13 weeks. That really sucks. So, should have turned off the no smoking sign so you could get high on approach. Well, I was high on approach, just not that kind of high on approach. So, anyway, this was a pretty good time, guys. We had some interesting discussions on here, to say the least. But let me just go ahead and throw this out there. Don't do drugs, people. They're bad for you. Okay. Hey, I appreciate all you guys joining me here once again. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing these. I do. So if you haven't had an opportunity yet, hop on over to Facebook. Now, if you want to know how to get to Facebook, the easiest way to do it is down below there. If you're not in full screen mode right now, down below the stream there, you'll see a link to my YouTube channel. Hop on over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button there if you haven't done that already. A few of you followed during this live stream, and I really appreciate that. There's Jeff giving us a follow right now. Managed to pull himself away from his munchies long enough to hit the button. I appreciate it, Jeff. But hop on over to YouTube, subscribe to my channel there. I sure would appreciate that. We're up to about 2,000 subscribers over there, and that's fantastic. And there at the top, on the top of the channel where the little, banner or whatever is, you should see a link for Facebook up there. Click on that. You can hop on over to Facebook and follow or like me on there or whatever. And the same goes for Twitter. And live stream announcements are going to be on Facebook from now on, including the voting thread. So if you want to vote for anything other than crashing an airplane, Matt, you can go over there and place your vote on what you'd like to see based on the options that are available. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. Any last questions before I head out? Because I don't have anything else to talk about. Oh, it just got all quiet. I thought maybe it froze. I was like, that's a weird time to freeze, but whatever. So, hey, my pleasure, Jeff. Have a great night. Great to meet you. Thanks for the follow. And look, like I said, head on over to Facebook and give us a like over there so that you'll be aware next time we're going to live stream. And it was pretty fun, Pat. It actually was. And I appreciate all the time you guys spent. Hey, Gamer4, was that Gamer420? Yep, Gamer420. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. And Chris, thanks for all the tips on flying the Airbus. Hopefully I'll remember most of those. My old brain doesn't always keep all that information, but I'll remember what I can, and then hopefully we can apply that next time we fly the Airbus in here. So, Cruz, great time. Thanks for coming. Sure do appreciate it. Shaker, great to have you aboard once again. Thank you, my friend. And, yeah, I'll hit you up on Facebook. You know what? Send me a message on Facebook. Remind me of exactly what it is you need, because I know I'll forget, and that way I can get the info from you, because I'm going to have to contact my friend and ask him about it. So, good places to go for free scenery, Serial. You can go to avsim.com, make an account there. They've got some free scenery. You can also go to flightsim.com, great place to go. And then if you've got a little time on your hands, go to, what is the name of it? Misty Moorings, MISTYMOORINGS, Misty Moorings. You can get tons of free scenery for Alaska there, but there are a few things you need, so make sure you read carefully all the documentation. So, because there are some things you need to purchase that you don't purchase from them in order for their free sceneries to work properly, including some Orbix stuff. So make sure you have all of that in line before you start trying to load their sceneries. And they got some great stuff, some really great stuff. So, the dreaded CRS. I don't know what the dreaded CRS is, but all right, guys, I'm going to have to wrap this one up. It was a really good time. Thank you so much for all of you for your participation. Thank you for joining me on this. Pat, there's a good free scenery link down there for you, or Pat just put that up for you, Serial Black. So Serial Black. I'm just going to call you Black from now on. Black. Pat just put up a link down there. That is a good place to go as well. So thank you again, everybody, for joining me on this live stream. And please head on over to YouTube. Hit the subscribe button over there. If anybody feels really friendly, you can donate to me. And maybe one day I'll be able to do this full time because I make enough money to do it. But for right now, I got to work 2 other jobs. So that's why the live streams are a little spaced out sometimes. But nonetheless, thank you all very much once again. Have a fantastic day. As always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. Everybody have a fantastic day and God bless.